Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys Football. Today we're just taking a look at a 2022 NFL mock draft by Tom Fornelli of CBS Sports, a guy I listen to a lot, a guy who's very, very smart and a very entertaining dude. But I'm going to rip into his draft. As usual, appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, the views on the channel. Support has been absolutely phenomenal. We and my brother very much appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into this draft. Evan Neal going number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Popular pick. I think he's minus 150 now to go there. I think he's the most complete offensive tackle. Like, the size is phenomenal. He's a mauler in the run game. He's a very good athlete in space when he has to pass protect. Yes, there are holes in his game, but like the ceiling is elite left tackle in the NFL. I certainly see why they want to give Trevor Lawrence just some consistency. You see, you have your quarterback on a rookie deal. You have your star left tackle on a rookie deal. That is a very good start to rebuilding a franchise that's been in the gutter for a couple of years. Aiden Hutchinson, number 2, really chalky draft so far. I think most people have this as the first 2 picks. Aiden Hutchinson just makes sense to go to Detroit. Number 1 prospect on my board. I think he fits really well. Obviously, a hometown kid going to University of Michigan. Fits what Dan Campbell wants to do. He's the number 1 prospect on our board, was the best player in college football, maybe besides Will Anderson last year. There's really nothing not to like about this kid. One of my favorite players ever at the University of Michigan. Number 3, Kevon Thibodeau, a guy that I'm happy to see is not falling in this draft because there's no reason in my mind why. Yes, he's a 20-year-old kid who wears sunglasses inside, but that doesn't mean he's a character problem. He's still an elite prospect. Some people still have him as the number 1 prospect. I have him number 2. He's going to give you a phenomenal pass rush. Tom really mentions Lovie Smith. I mean, his defense is predicated on getting pressure on the quarterback. Kevon Thibodeau will help you do that. Moving on to pick 4, the New York Jets. They go with Kevin Thibodeau. I'm a Charles Cross guy. I think in a league that is so predicated on protecting the quarterback and throwing the ball, Charles Cross is the best pass protecting the draft. That's why I have a future of him going number 1. I think that guy, when the process gets more heated up, why are you drafting a left tackle? To protect your quarterback? Charles Cross is the best in the class at doing that. Yes, Kevin Thibodeau has some absolutely phenomenal film. He's a mauler in the run game, very good athlete. But he's just not as polished as a pass protector. So I personally have Charles Cross above Kevin Thibodeau, but all 3 of them are right up there, and it kind of depends on what the team wants to do. Clearly, the Jets want to run the football. Mekhi Becton, Vera Tucker, Kevin Thibodeau. I mean, you are getting the bones to be a phenomenal run offense, getting those guys. Apparently, that's what the Jets are trying to do. New York Jets go Kyle Hamilton. This would be a great pick. I think the Jets probably go with this at 4. I think the Jets just need bodies in the secondary, and Kyle Hamilton's like 2 bodies in the secondary. Dude's an absolute freak, kind of a unicorn in the draft. I'm super excited to see this guy test. If he tests anything like he plays, he's a monster who moves at an extremely high level. This is a steal, really. Kyle Hamilton is the 3rd prospect on our board. The New York Giants are getting him at 5. That's a phenomenal pick for them. Number 6, Kenny Pickett, probably the most ready of the quarterbacks. Again, I'm thinking Charles Cross is there. I think you take your left tackle, a position that Carolina has just missed on and really hasn't really dedicated any draft capital to. There's just no quarterback. I mean, you have Sam Darnold on 1 more year. I think you let Sam Darnold run. You have another down year, then you draft one of the studs. But taking a quarterback this high, I get you got to keep swinging at these quarterbacks. I just don't think Kenny Pickett's going to lift your team to anywhere with any sort of significance. Not that I don't like Kenny Pickett, but he needs to be surrounded by a lot. Kind of like Mac Jones in New England. Mac Jones isn't going to win you a Super Bowl with subpar talent. You need to surround him with elite level talent, and then you have a shot at competing for the Super Bowl. I think Kenny Pickett in a lot of circumstances is very similar. Giants up again at 7. Go get George Karlaftis, a guy who in the last couple of weeks has been falling hard. I think it's a product of Jermaine Johnson. Obviously had a great Senior Bowl week, and Karlaftis is probably like one of the more less exciting guys workout-wise. Doesn't have like elite twitch, doesn't have elite bend, probably isn't going to move like at the highest level of these edge guys because there are some freaky athletes on the edge. That being said, his power is going to translate. He's the most powerful edge rusher in the draft, and you know that power will translate. He's going to blow up pockets. I don't mind the pick here. I think you're getting a guy who's going to be good in the run game. He's going to be good in the pass rush. He's a very high floor guy that's going to be hard to miss on. Atlanta Falcons go Ahmad Gardner. More of a popular pick that's gaining a lot of traction, especially with Derek Stingley not working out the combine. I've said throughout the whole process, Derek Stingley is my number one cornerback. Unless he doesn't work out at the combine, then I'm going to start having questions. Now, I still have Derek Stingley, number one cornerback, just because that true freshman tape, you guys have heard me say it all the time. It's just so good. That being said, now we're looking at the pro day, April 6th. Is he going to work out? How well is he going to work out? Because the last 2 years hasn't been anything special. So you want to see at least are those athletic attributes still there. But Ahmad Gardner, much more of a safer pick. He's going to be a good cornerback in the draft. Pair him up with A.J. Terrell. I'm a fan of that pick. Broncos go get Jermaine Johnson, one of my guys in the draft. I've been high on this dude for a while. Not only did he get a great Senior Bowl, but the film of him at Florida State was some of the more impressive edge film I've seen in a very long time. Very good against the run. He's great at standing up tackles, trying to block downfield on him. He's great at getting after the passer. He's got a massive tool bag of moves. I really, really like this dude. I think he's one of the all-around best edge defenders in the class. I have him as edge 3, and I think he should be a top 10 pick. Love that Denver's getting him, pairing up with Bradley Chubb. Pittsburgh Steelers go get Malik Willis, trading up. It is no secret Mike Tomlin's a Malik Willis fan. Followed him around pretty much all Senior Bowl week. Let me get this lightened better a little bit. Followed him around all Senior Bowl week. I think he's just, to be honest, just tired of having a quarterback who's a statue in there. I mean, towards the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career, the dude just could not extend plays. Malik Willis is a guy who will extend plays. The biggest question you have about Malik Willis is the accuracy. Has a strong arm. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. You guys have heard me say I think he's closer to Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, meaning I think his athleticism can be used more as a weapon as opposed to just a tool. Jalen Hurts, in his tool bag, he can extend plays with his athleticism. I think Malik Willis, you can use it as a weapon, similar to Lamar Jackson, kind of similar to what the Bills are doing with Josh Allen. He is a high level athlete. Led the country in forced missed tackles. Very hard to bring down. And he's big too, so having him run a little bit is not necessarily going to be a problem. Again, he's a super high ceiling guy, but the floor is also pretty low because the accuracy was a struggle. The Commanders go get Nakobe Dean. One, I'm thrilled that he's the number one linebacker off the board. My linebacker one, seems like Devin Lloyd consensusly has overtaken him in the draft community. I'm still a Nakobe Dean guy. Yes, he's a little undersized at 6 foot, 225. I'm interested to see where he measures at because I heard it could be under 6 foot. I heard he could measure under 220 pounds. Whatever weight that guy was playing at Georgia, he was playing at a very high level. I'm not concerned. I mean, he's dripping with instincts, always where he needs to be. He's a phenomenal athlete, a very fluid athlete in space, and he's a heat-seeking missile in the run game. I mean, this is a guy that don't look at the measurements, watch the film. This guy's film was the best linebacker in the country. Don't overthink it. Linebacker 1. That being said, a little bit high, especially after picking Jamin Davis last year. So I'm not sure if I'm in love with the pick there, but I'm happy to see he's at a linebacker 1. Derek Stingley ends up falling to the Vikings. This would be a great pick. I've personally mocked Derek Stingley to the Vikings a couple times. They need a cornerback. I think Derek Stingley is still a cornerback 1. He's a top 5 prospect on my board still, although maybe he's falling after not working out the combine. This would be a phenomenal pick at pick 12. Pick 13 has to be wide receiver. It's Garrett Wilson. Man, me and Tom Fornelli, he's a smart guy. Smart guys, we're on the same wavelength. Wide receiver 1, Garrett Wilson. I'm interested to see his weight. Is he over 190? And how fast is that 40 at the combine? I think it'll be sub 4.5. He's not a burner, but he is absolute dynamite with movement skills. Stopping and starting, changing direction, running clean routes. and just absolutely electric with the ball in his hands. I said it before. It just gives me some of that Odell Beckham it factor, and he is great at playing at the catch point. Some phenomenal hands. Just watch his highlights. Don't even watch the film. Watch his highlights. You can see that it factor in Garrett Wilson's game. Pick 14, Trent McDuffie to the Ravens. He's another guy that you got to watch out for the combine because I heard he might be under 5'10", which is maybe a little bit concerning, and you start having questions that can he play cornerback outside the numbers? The film's phenomenal with Trent McDuffie. What you worry about is, was he battle tested in the Pac-12? It's just been really weak the last couple of years, especially in that. And there hasn't been a lot of quarterbacks. There hasn't been a lot of wide receivers that are testing Trent McDuffie, as opposed to a guy you look at like Roger McCreary, who's going up against the elite quarterbacks, the elite wide receivers in the SEC. Trent McDuffie hasn't really seen that. But the dude's short area quickness, the dude's ability to play zone coverage, keep his eyes on the quarterback, and break on the football is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, people could barely catch balls on him, and if they did, it was for like less than 5 yards. Dude's absolutely phenomenal. Extremely impressive prospect. All right, this is where the Eagles got to make their money. They got 3 picks coming up. They go Travon Walker, a guy that probably won't last that long. I'm not very high on him because I haven't seen like that upside in rushing the passer. Yes, he's big. Yes, he moves very well, and yes, he's very strong. Like, he has a lot of attributes to be an elite pass rusher. I don't see that bend. I don't see the tool bag of moves that like a Jermaine Johnson has showed me. Hence, I'm not as high on him as I am others. The sack production wasn't great, but in terms of having a high ceiling, Travon Walker has it. And again, people say it a lot. Guys that move like him and are as big as him and as strong as him, they don't normally last that long in the NFL draft. I'd expect Travon Walker to be off the board before pick 20, even if I'm not personally the highest guy on him. With their second pick in the first round, they go get Treylon Burks. He's wide receiver 6 for me. I didn't see like a full route tree. You watch his film at Arkansas and you watch his highlights at Arkansas, it's pretty much him winning downfield. And it's good. Like, he's a very good contested catch guy. He's got massive hands. He really uses his body well to beat DBs. But it's like, is he going to be able to create separation at a high enough level? People say like, oh, don't miss on him like people miss on DK Metcalf, where it's like, take that size, take that speed, and go pick him. But he's not the freak that DK is. He's a freak, but he's not that freak. And I don't see him separating enough at the intermediate pass routes. So I have a little bit worries on him. I'm more of a Chris Olave guy. I'm more of a Jameson Williams guy. And if I'm looking for a bigger wide receiver, I'm taking Drake London. But I can see why you wouldn't want to pass on Treylon Burks. Pick 17, Chris Olave. I love it. Chris Olave is my wide receiver too. I mean, I think a lot of people, and granted, I'm young, haven't been doing this that long, but Chris Olave is he's not flashy. He's got some burners to him. He's going to run real fast. But he's not flashy. He's not flashy like Garrett Wilson. But, man, is he a darn good football player. Kind of reminds me of the Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, where it's like you're not beating them with, like, dummy athleticism, but it's just clean routes, creating separation off the line of scrimmage, being able to win vertically. I think he's an all-around wide receiving prospect. And I like the idea of him being a wide receiver 2 to start his career. He's not coming in and having to be the wide receiver 1. You got Keenan Allen. Probably aren't going to sign Mike Williams back. You got Chris Olave, a guy who can separate at a high level and give Justin Herbert another reliable target. He's a guy with a very, very high floor. He's going to be a good player in the NFL. Is he going to be an elite wide receiver 1? Kind of remains to be seen. I think he personally can be. I think this would be a great landing spot. I love that mock for them. A guy that, okay, you're going to be wide receiver 2 to start your career. You're going to learn from one of the best ever do it, Keenan Allen, especially when in terms of running routes. You have 2 guys now who are going to create separation at a very high level. And that's how you're going to win in the AFC West. You've got to be able to score points because you're going up against Patty Mahomes. Chris Olave is a great pick here. Love it. Absolutely love it. Desmond Ridder, QB3 off the board after Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis. I think the Saints have to go quarterback, and just in terms of like the salary cap. I mean, they really are scrunched for numbers. I think that's why Sean Payton left. He just looked at the contract situation, was like, this is a tough road forward. I'm going to dip out. I'm going to take my money doing TV. So you got to go pick a quarterback, and that pick is Desmond Ridder. I like it. I'm not a huge fan of Matt Corral just because you haven't seen Matt Corral in an NFL offense. A lot of Matt Corral's game is that RPO. You don't see him taking 5-step drops, stepping up, manipulating a pocket, and delivering a ball. Everything's really fast, which you like, but everything was fast because of that RPO kind of lack of NFL scheme. And so I have questions about Matt Corral kind of running more of a pro-style offense at the next level. Pick 19, last pick, Jalen Petrie. That's about as high as I've seen him go. This dude is a really fun film study. Plays just all over the field. He's in the backfield all the time. I get big-time Jamal Adams vibes. He's not quite as big or as physical as Jamal Adams, but he's got the instincts like Jamal Adams, especially when it comes to being around the line of scrimmage, blitzing off the edge, getting in the backfield against the run. Dude's really fun. I worry about, is the ability to cover in the back end there. I'm personally a Dax Hill safety 2 guy just because Dax Hill's shown the ability to cover. But Jalen Petrie, he is a fun prospect, and if you can use him in the right way, I think he's an impact maker on the defense side of the ball. Pick 20, New York Jets traded down from pick 10. They go get Jameson Williams. This is a great pick. Obviously suffered the ACL injury, but you got Elijah Moore who kind of wins underneath. Elijah Moore can burn, but the change of direction that Elijah Moore, showed in college at Ole Miss, I think balances out really well with Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams has game-breaking speed. I mean, it's a shame that he can't run the 40 because it would have been nuts. Him and Elijah Moore really balance each other's games out, and you're giving Zach Wilson 2 absolute dynamite wide receiving targets that kind of balance each other out, quite frankly. I think this is a very good pick. 21, David Ojabo. Bill Belichick just can't stop the Michigan edge guys. Got Josh Uche, Chase Winovich, and then he's got Michael Onwenu on the offensive line. He likes the Michigan guys. He likes Tom Brady, the Michigan men. You know that. David Ojabo is probably the highest ceiling in the NFL draft. The dude's twitch is unbelievable. He's learning the game so quickly. Dude's only been playing football for 5 years, kind of like Odafe Owe. But the reason he's going a little bit higher than Odafe Owe is because the production was there. Odafe Owe, I don't even think had a sack his last year in college football. David Ojabo had 11. Question marks about David Ojabo. The frame. Can you hold up in the run game? Are you drafting a guy at pick 21 who can't play all 3 downs? That's a question mark. That being said, you put a little bulk on this guy's frame. I think he can certainly do it. It got better as the season went on at Michigan, that's for sure. But a guy who needs some work, a little bit of a project, still teaching him in the game, still teaching him how to play with good leverage and kind of stay in the run game, not get washed out. I mean, get him under Bill Belichick, probably one of the best coaches that we've ever seen at the NFL level. Let him learn. He's going to be a good football player. I really think so at the NFL level. Might take a few years, though. Devin Lloyd to the Raiders. Devin Lloyd's a good player. He's got good instincts. I don't think he's as good of an athlete as people are saying. Like, people are giving him like Micah Parsons comps because they saw him blitz off the edge a few times. I don't think he's quite the athlete that Micah Parsons was. That being said, he can do that type of stuff. I mean, I think he had 9 sacks, 14 and a half tackles for a loss, something like that. He gets in the backfield really well. He's got great instincts. He's got great ball skills. I mean, 6'3", he's got good length and in coverage. He can play in space at a high level. It's kind of what you want in the modern-day linebacking room. He's a good prospect. I think that's a pretty good fit, and I think that's a pretty good range for where I'd expect Devin Lloyd to go. Him and Nakobe Dean probably shouldn't go too far from each other. I think they're linebacker 1A, linebacker 1B, depending on what you want and how you want your defense to look. I personally am a Nakobe Dean guy just because I've seen a lot of him. I think he's very impressive. But Devin Lloyd also a very good prospect. I think you both see him and Dean go off the board between pick 15 and 25. I don't think either of those guys go pass down the Cowboys, and I think one of them will maybe get scooped up by the Eagles. Arizona Cardinals, Tyler Linderbaum. I'm not going to complain. As long as it's like outside of the top 5, I'm not going to complain where Tyler Linderbaum goes. If the Giants get him at 7, I probably wouldn't raise my eyebrows too much. If the Dallas Cowboys give him at 24, I'd say, okay, I get why people passed on him, and I get why Dallas took him. Best center we've seen in the history of my scouting. Phenomenal. I mean, he's a great athlete. Yeah, you worry about the weight a little bit, but Again, similar to what Nakobe Dean was. Whatever weight he was playing at and producing at in college, fine with him playing in the NFL. I think Tyler Linderbaum is a legit top 5 center in the league the day he gets drafted. He is just a disgustingly good prospect. Cowboys get Charles Cross. I don't get the Charles Cross disrespect. Yeah, he's the most underrated offensive lineman. I don't know why you have him falling to 24. This dude's film's phenomenal. Put him on against Alabama. He's dealing with those pass rushers at a high level. They put him on an island. He's the best pass protector in the class. Talked about it earlier in the video. You draft left tackles to protect your quarterback. Charles Cross will do this at the highest level. Pounding my desk for it. Camera shaking. I believe in this dude. I don't think he should fall out of the top 10. Again, I hold a future as him being the number 1 overall pick at plus 3,500. I think once teams start thinking, okay, why are we drafting a left tackle? It's to protect our quarterback. Charles Cross is going to start getting in those conversations. He's did it a lot at Mississippi State. He's going to do it at a high level of the NFL. Dude's a phenomenal athlete. He mirrors edge rushers extremely well. It's great feet. The only question you might have had about him was how's that anchor at 310 pounds? He's filled out his frame. I think he was playing as a true freshman at a little bit at 290. He's filled out that frame. And he didn't really have any problem with people getting up inside his pads and pushing him back on the quarterback. He had a good anchor on the film his senior year, even as a sophomore. Not senior year, junior year. I love this prospect. He's a steal if you passes the 10th round or the 10th pick. Absolute steal. Buffalo Bills go get Drake London. That's the second time I've seen Daniel Jeremiah also had Treylon Burks going to the Bills. Gabe Davis emerged as kind of that bigger target downfield. I think the Bills have some other needs that they might want to address, one being linebacker. Nakobe Dean and Devin Lloyd are off the board. Okay. What about cornerback? You still have guys like Andrew Booth, like Roger McCreary. You can't trot out Dane Jackson and Levi Wallace again against the Kansas City Chiefs and expect to beat them in the playoffs. I don't know if this offense, like you throw Drake London in the offense, like it might go from like third best to the number 1 best. Okay, maybe. But I think there's some other holes that they need to fill to kind of get them over the top. Don't know if Drake London's that hole. I'm not a huge fan of Drake London either. At 25, I like the value, but I'm not like the biggest fan of this dude. Kenyon Green to the Tennessee Titans, probably the best interior offensive lineman outside of Tyler Linderbaum. Phenomenal film. He's played – the Aggies did him a little bit of a disservice, kind of bouncing him around like every spot on the offensive line, pretty much besides center. He can play tackle. Like he could play tackle in the NFL. I don't know if that's where he's going to thrive the most. He's going to be a very good guard at the next level. Tennessee likes to run the ball. Kenyon Green's a mauler. He's an absolute vicious run blocker. This is a great fit for Tennessee. Again, I've mocked Tyler Linderbaum to Tennessee. I've mocked Zion Johnson to Tennessee. Kenyon Green's never made it that far, quite frankly, in my mocks because he's just too good of a player. If he's there, take him. Absolute dynamite pick. Tampa Bay goes against Jordan Davis. I've seen this, and that's a very fun, like him and Vita Vea up front, very fun. Like this dude's absolutely just a man amongst boys at the college level. Be a man amongst boys at the NFL level. Only questions are you taking a first-round pick on a guy who just didn't really show the ability to play all 3 downs? 1, he gets tired. 2, he's just not that effective rushing the passer, even if he's fresh. Good luck trying to run on this defense with the linebackers they have behind Jordan Davis and Vita Vea. If you have a fresh Jordan Davis or a fresh Vita Vea out on the field, it is a hard defense to run against. I'm more under the impression that if you want to go get a 2-gap guy like this, go get Travis Jones in the bottom of the 2nd, as opposed to taking Jordan Davis with the first-round pick. I think they can do similar jobs at a similar level. I don't hate the pick, but I'm not a huge Jordan Davis fan. Packers go get Jahan Dotson. He's my wide receiver 5. I really like this dude. I think he could have been higher, quite frankly, if he wasn't playing with Sean Clifford. You put Jahan Dotson on an Alabama team, I think we're talking about him as a top 15 pick. He was just pretty limited on what he could do with that offense, but he was pretty much that offense in Penn State. Couldn't run the ball. Their production came from Jahan Dotson winning vertically, but he can win anyway. He's got tremendous footwork off the line of scrimmage, creates separation in short, intermediate, and down the field vertically. Kind of a complete prospect. a little bit. You worry a little bit about the size. I don't know if he's 5'11". That he looks like he's more like 5'10". Definitely small of a frame, but he can win with separation, and that's how you win in the NFL. I'm completely fine with the Packers taking him at 28, especially if they're keeping Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Devontae Adams probably not coming back to Green Bay. Miami pretty much needs to go offensive line. You got to try to figure it out at some point. Having a talent like Trevor Penning fall, you like it. I mean, this dude talked about the mammoths. Like, he is one of the mammoths, 6'7", 321 pounds. He's a good athlete. I'm interested to see where he's testing with his movement skills at the combine. You see the athleticism on film. I think he needs some work. Senior Bowl I think it was a little bit more rocky than people give him credit for. Like, people are saying that he was like a Senior Bowl winner. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think he had a decent Senior Bowl. I wouldn't say he dominated. And you worry about him dominating the high-level competition. He didn't look great against Iowa State, working against Will McDonald and the other defensive lineman. I'm not even going to try to say his name. They had a couple of good defensive linemen there at Iowa State. Trevor Penning didn't look that great. So, again, I feel like a lot of this is projection because he hasn't shown that he can do it against the highest level guys. Chiefs get Dax Hill. After the combine, people are going to be talking about him being a top 20 pick. He's going to run like a 4.3 40. He's got absolute burners that he didn't really get to show in the Michigan defense. He was mainly playing nickel cornerback, and he showed good short area quickness, the ability to stay in the hip pocket of wide receivers. Yes, did some of the better wide receivers like Jahan Dotson, Jackson Smith-Njigba beat him up a few times. Yeah, but at safety, like, I have no problems with him walking up and having to play man coverage in the slot. Playing center field, he's got phenomenal range when that ball is in the air. He's going to be able to get to the catch point and break it up. Maybe he's got good ball skills too to intercept the ball. You can do a lot with this dude. He did a lot at Michigan. I think he can do a lot in the NFL. I think he's going to be best playing back in safety, more in space, utilizing that speed and that length. The only knock on him is he's a little undersized, but he plays really physical. I think this guy's a top 20 prospect. I think he's easily the second best safety prospect after Kyle Hamilton. I think once he works out and shows off those movement skills that maybe people just like forgot he had for some reason, I think people will start talking about him a little bit higher than 20. That being said, if the Chiefs get him at 30, that's a dynamite pick. Absolutely dynamite pick. Bernie Ryman to 31 to the Bengals. Again, Bengals are a team that need a tackle. I'm under the impression that they should just go sign a free agent, Teron Armstead, trade for Laramie Tunsil, get somebody that you know is going to be able to protect Joe Burrow week one. Bernie Ryman is probably not that guy, and they're probably not going to be able to get a tackle at 31 that has that ability to come in and you're going to be confident that they're going to be able to protect Joe Burrow week one of the 2022 NFL season. So he's a good project guy. Like, I think he's going to be a good tackle, but I think he needs a little work. Again, dude was playing tight end 2 years ago. He was in Austria 4 years ago. So he hasn't played like a lot of football at a high level. Again, playing at Central Michigan, wasn't going up against some of the best guys in the country either. Another guy who had kind of a rocky Senior Bowl week. So again, if I'm the Bengals, I'm going a little bit more leaning towards best player available as opposed to like, okay, we need a tackle, let's go get a tackle. There are a lot of tackles, good tackles who've proven that they can play at the NFL level in the free agency market. Go get one of those guys. And then maybe go get Zion Johnson, who you know is a plug-and-play guy in the interior. Again, I don't hate the prospect either. It's just for the Bengals need, I think they need to go get a guy that shows that they can do it week one. I don't think Bernie Ryman is quite that guy. Like you said, he still might need some more seasoning. Like, this team was just playing in the Super Bowl. You don't have time to draft a tackle and throw him out there. You got to go win now. Get your best team going out now. You got Joe Burrow on your rookie contract. Go pay for a tackle who can protect your franchise quarterback. If you want to get Bernie Ryman and develop him, sure. But like, if they draft him here, you still got to go get a free agent tackle, because I want somebody who's proven to protect Joe Burrow. Who's quickly one of my favorite players in the NFL. Carson Strong here. We'll see the medicals. Apparently his knee is like real messed up. You can see it in the film against Nevada. This dude struggles to manipulate pocket. Like, basic movement functions like manipulating pocket, extend the play a little bit. It's just not there with Carson Strong. He's got an absolutely rocket arm. Kind of the prototypical. I get big time Ryan Mallett vibes from him. Big, Big, tall quarterback who's got a great arm, pretty good accuracy. I worry about the touch throws. He missed a few of the Senior Bowl. He's a good prospect, but I'm thinking if I'm Detroit, it might be one more down year for you guys. And then you're ready to rock and roll with them like a Bryce Young, a CJ Stroud next year. So maybe you're getting wide receiver here. Guy like, I don't know if we had any of those top wide receivers fall. If a top wide receiver falls, I'm getting them at 32. And you really acquire that talent. So when you have a CJ Stroud or Bryce Young coming in, you're ready to rock and roll. All right. That's it on the first round mock. Again, I like this mock. I liked a lot of picks. We obviously don't see eye to eye on a few. Charles Crossfell at 24, just blasphemy. Jalen Petrie, it's not even like I don't like the prospect. I just think I'm more of a Dax Hill guy. I think you can do more with him. I think he's proven that he can play coverage a little bit higher. Love this crit. That's probably my favorite pick of the draft. Once again, appreciate you guys rocking with the ROC Boys. Please like, subscribe to the video, comment in the comment section. I love talking prospects, love talking ball. You guys have been absolutely awesome with the support. Again, appreciate you guys so much, and we will talk to you guys later. Peace, y'all.